Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let's open our hearts to love one another.
Civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson wrote Lift Their Voice and Sing as a poem, which was set to music by his brother John Roseman Johnson in 1899. The song is now known as the Black National Anthem in America. It is a protest, a hymn, and a prayer of profound significance for our people. We lift every voice and sing to express ourselves. We lift every voice to show that we have strength in numbers and we will not be silent. We lift every voice and sing to be lifted, liberated, and free.
Freedom, the power to determine action without restraint. Freedom, the absence of or release from ties, obligations, or restrictions. Freedom, the ease or facility of movement or action. Freedom, frankness or boldness in manner or speech. Freedom, a political right. Until we are all free, none of us is free. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod. Those in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place, come to our Father's side. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. So lest of He, oh our God, where we drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadow beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
As the war in the Ukraine wages on, we continue to set aside a few moments of prayer and reflection to stand in support for peace. This gently adapted prayer was part of a consecration of Ukraine and Russia presented by Pope Francis in St. Peter's Basilica. We pray for the people of Ukraine, for all those suffering or afraid, that their faith will hold them and protect them. We pray for world leaders, for compassion, strength, and wisdom to guide their choices. We pray for the world, that in this moment of crisis, we may reach out in solidarity to our brothers and sisters in need. May we walk in love and grace so that peace and justice become a reality for the people of Ukraine. And for all the world. May it be so. Each week we gather, we carry the sorrows and celebrations of our own lives. I will read aloud the joys and sorrows written on note cards here in the sanctuary, as well as those entered earlier into chat on Zoom. Lee will light a candle here in the sanctuary in honor of all the simple joys that are sustaining us. He will light another candle in honor of the sorrows and hardships we light one more candle in honor of the joys and sorrows we carry in our hearts, but have not been spoken aloud. I invite us now to take a few unhurried breaths as we share a moment of silence together, a silence of your understanding, holding our own lives and the world in our hearts. Before beginning this part of the service, we want to acknowledge that some of you have expressed concerns about too many videos and recordings in services. Today, we're happy to welcome a new pianist, Taylor Wesson, who is playing our prelude and postlude live in the sanctuary on our beautiful piano. The following presentation and the music in the service are done by video recording because we felt that for this very important day, Juneteenth, the story and music would be best presented by the people who live it. Who better to explain freedom in this way or sing the songs that are a part of their heritage and culture? We look to honor them and their experience as we seek deeper understanding. We've put together some recordings of music from Sweet Honey and the Rock and a couple of videos that explain the history of Juneteenth and the nature of the celebrations around the country. If you're not acquainted with Sweet Honey and the Rock, it is an all-women African-American a cappella ensemble that has been producing music for more than 30 years. Over time, the members have changed, but the music has consistently combined contemporary rhythms and narratives with a musical style rooted in the gospel music, spirituals, and hymns of the Black church. They're a favorite of Juneteenth celebrations everywhere. Wade in the Water. This first musical selection is Wade in the Water. It is an African-American spiritual that is believed to have been used by the Underground Railroad, a network of secret routes and safe houses used by slaves in the United States to find freedom. Many believe it was used by Harriet Tubman to warn slaves to get off the trail and into the water to avoid the dogs used by slave hunters for tracking and finding them.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water, when God's gonna trouble the water, come on and wade in the water, you gotta all dressed up in white. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, they must be the children of the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, now you wanna wade in the water. The water. See those children dressed in black. God's gonna trouble the water. You know, they come a long way, ain't turning back. God's gonna trouble the water. Children, they're dressed up in blue. You know my God's gonna trouble the water. I see it looks like my people. They're coming on through. Well, my God's gonna trouble the water. Well, everybody is wait in the water. Children,
water. See those children dressed in red, my God, He's going to trouble the water. You know it must be the children that Moses led, my God, He's going to trouble the water. See those children all dressed in green. God's gonna trouble the water. You know they're moving down to that Jordan stream. Well, God's gonna trouble the water. Come on, down, wade in the water, my children. Some say Paul, my God, my God. Well, you know there ain't but one God made us all. God's gonna trouble the water. Everybody ought to just wait on the water. Wait on the water. Trouble the water, way, my God's gonna trouble the water. I know my God's gonna trouble the water. My God's gonna trouble, well, my God's gonna trouble the water. God is gonna trouble the water.
This world is one great battlefield with forces all arrayed. If in my heart I do not yield, I'll overcome someday. I'll overcome someday. I'll overcome someday. If in my heart I do not yield, I'll overcome someday.
Like the Civil War itself, slavery didn't end with one decisive act. After the Battle of Antietam in September 1862, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1863. It declared all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states to be free. Northern abolitionists welcomed the proclamation as a first step, while Southern slave owners ignored it. Ending slavery would take a constitutional amendment passed in January 1865, Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox in April 1865, the heroism of many enslaved families, and the Union Army itself to personally deliver the news to the most remote corners of the conquered Confederacy.
The proclamation that Lincoln signed didn't find its way into Texas, which is where my father's family is from, and the Rambo family, until mid-June of 1865.
On June 19th, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston and personally delivered the news.
The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor.
There was a lot of celebration, but there was also a lot of sadness, a lot of concern, a lot of fear. Both enslaved Africans and those who held slaves didn't know what really to do now. As freed Americans, where were we to go?
"150 years later, June 19th is a day of remembrance and celebration.
I think my first Juneteenth celebration was when I was 6 or 7, because I remember roasted ears of corn. And this was in Austin, Texas. And then coming here, I was surprised and really astounded to find out that Minneapolis, St. Paul have such a strong connection with Juneteenth. It stands to reason with the number of people who probably migrated this far north who brought with them that tradition.
Every year in Texas, Minnesota, and around the country, Juneteenth is marked with music, food, and fellowship.
We are celebrating at Mississippi Regional Park. There's all ages here. I just see all kinds of people and colors.
It's amazing to me that, especially among the African American culture, we have a little bit of a fear of embracing that history, because there's some shame connected to slavery. I don't feel that way. I feel that that is such an important part of who I am as a person. The strength that I have within me comes from that struggle.
African American Independence Day. So we're celebrating. Our day of liberation, our day of liberation.
It's important to have opportunities for us to celebrate our oneness, our wholeness, our completeness, our dynamic selves. It's vital to African American people to have an opportunity, a date that heralds the importance of who we are as a people, and what we've been through as a people.
Juneteenth gives African American communities a chance to reflect on their ancestors' struggles and achievements, and also to spotlight current issues.
There is a lot going on in this world. There's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and a lot of uneasiness. The foundation you have can kind of give you a little bit more of a sure footing, because you can look and say, well, wait, my family made it through this hatred. Somehow they made it through. So take that strength and go up to the next level.
I love seeing the support that I get every year. It's always new people I'm meeting and hopefully collaborating with them so we can have Juneteenth and not let it die. It's so important.
If in my heart I do not yield, I'll overcome someday.
This next music selection is entitled Greed. It was written by Sweet Honey in the Rock and is included in their album called Juneteenth. They call this song a sermonette, in which they are, to quote them, trying to find a way to talk about greed. This recording was part of an evening broadcast for Juneteenth, 2021.
I've been thinking about how I'm talking about greed. I've been thinking about how I'm talking about greed. I should have been wondering if I could sing about greed, trying to find a way to talk about greed. Greed is a poison rising in the land, the soul of the people twisted in its command. It moves like a virus, seeking out everyone. Greed never stops, its work is never ever done. It's not partial to gender or your sexual desire. All it wants is for you to want to own, to possess and to buy. And I've been thinking about how we talk about greed. I've been thinking about how to talk about greed. Said I've been wondering if I could sing about greed. Trying to find a way to talk about greed. Hey, now you may wonder if you're infected by greed. If you have to ask, then this song you really need. Let me tell you now, greed is sneaky, hard to detect in myself. I see it so clearly in everybody else. Nah, I see it in you. You can see it in me. And I see it in big corporations all throughout the government. I see it in the military. I see it in the bank. I see it in the church now. I see it in my neighbor. It all shows up so clearly. You and your greed. And I've been thinking about how to talk about greed. Yes, I've been thinking about how to talk about greed. Said I've been wondering if I could sing about greed. Trying to find a way to talk about greed. I'm trying to find a way to talk about greed. I'm trying to find a way to talk about greed. I'm trying to find a way. Some baby's crying, you want more now. Somebody's hungry, you want more now. Somebody's homeless, you want more now. I'm trying to find a way. All you say now is gimme. Can't get enough greed. Can't get enough greed. Trying to find a way to talk about it. Trying to find a way to talk about it. I'm trying to find a way to talk about greed.
Mrs. Opal Lee is regarded as the grandmother of Juneteenth. She's an American retired teacher, counselor, and civil rights activist. She worked for decades to get Juneteenth officially recognized as a national holiday. At the age of 89, she walked from Fort Worth, Texas, to Washington, D.C., leaving in September 2016 and finishing in January 2017, hoping to plead her case to President Barack Obama. Over the years, she has marched in many cities promoting her cause. You may have seen her in the White House last year when she succeeded in her goal and was present when President Joe Biden signed the bill declaring Juneteenth a national holiday. Here is Opal Lee.
We've been brainwashed to believe that when you get a certain age, you're going to get in your rocking chair and wait for the Lord to call you. Well, he's going to have to catch me because there's too much more to do. My name is Opal Lee, and my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, neighbors and friends say Grandy Opal Lee. Born in Marshall, Texas, and we moved to the south side of Fort Worth. But on the 19th day of June, 1939, people began to form on a sidewalk. The papers said it was 500 of those people. Those people tore that place apart. They burned the furniture. Nobody was charged with that. Nothing happened. I taught 3rd grade for so long. You got books that will show People in the cotton fields smiling. They love to pick cotton. We were able to tell the children that's not true. I pick cotton. I know it's not true. We had a Juneteenth in a tiny little sycamore park. 30,000 people came, the paper said. And I'm not sure we knew what we were celebrating about. We found out actually what happened when General Gordon Granger made his way to Galveston. What he did was to nail this General Order Number 3 to the door of what's now Reedy Chapel, African Methodist Episcopal Church. The enslaved had known they were free for 2.5 years. And I sort of felt like we weren't remembering. The ultimate goal was for Juneteenth to become a national holiday. Surely, if a little old lady in tennis shoes is walking, from here to Washington, somebody would take notice, and I would tell them I was walking 2.5 miles to symbolize that the enslaved had known they were free for 2.5 years. I was invited all over these United States. I had the opportunity to go to the White House and meet so many extraordinary people who were on the same page I'm on. Now we have to turn our attention to the disparities in the country. And I'm talking about joblessness and homelessness and schools that don't have textbooks that tell the truth. Health care, police brutality, climate change. As a nation, we have to take the responsibility of making our country the very best country there is. Because we are a nation who can get things done. And we need to be the leader.
This final music selection is Ella's song. In 1981, Bernice Johnson Reagan, founder of Sweet Honey in the Rock and a civil rights activist and leader, wrote this song as part of the musical score she composed for the film, The Story of Ella Baker. Ella Josephine Baker was an African-American human rights activist who emphasized grassroots local action. This song talks about her work to explore the collective struggle for freedom and justice, sharing faith in the struggle for liberation and religious education practice.
We have traveled a long way this evening to be here, and we are grateful that we are able to sing these songs voicing how we feel about the things that we see in life. And we think that it's very important to maintain freedom. So we say, we who believe in freedom, we cannot rest. We cannot be complacent. We may stay alert, stay active, and stay involved. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest.
Oh, how can you rest?
We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mother, sons is as important as the killing of white men, white mother, sons. Sing with us. We who believe in freedom.
How can you rest?
We who believe in freedom, believe in freedom,
Don't you rest.
we who believe in freedom, believe in freedom, cannot rest. You know that struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand up and fight is the only way my struggle survives. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult to no man's heart. You know that we who believe in freedom and freedom cannot rest.
Oh, don't you
We
rest.
who believe in freedom and freedom cannot rest. One more time now, we who believe in freedom and freedom cannot rest. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe in freedom?
We turn our attention now to the wider world as we take our offertory. This month's share, the plate recipient is Health Finders Collaborative, a community health center which provides a comprehensive primary access point to health services for marginalized families in Rice and Steele counties. Health Finders believes in the inherent capacity of patients and communities to support health and wellness. Your donations help marginalized families in our community access respectful medical care, as well as substance abuse and mental health services. You may contribute right now online by going to our website, uunorthfield.org, clicking on the yellow donate button on the right-hand column and then selecting share the plate. Or you can mail a check payable to UUFN with an offering basket written on the memo line. Separate checks marked UUFN pledge are also welcome. If you're at our church building, please put cash or a check again made out to UUFN with offering basket on the memo line in the basket. As always, thank you for giving as you are able. I just need to interject an additional announcement, which I failed to do earlier, which is that we are serving coffee downstairs after the service. If you would like to take coffee outside, you're very welcome to pick up a carafe and cups downstairs and take them to the tables outside at the back of the parking lot. Please just bring everything back downstairs when you're done. Otherwise, coffee and cookies downstairs only for now. So.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. Over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried
I invite everyone here in the sanctuary to gather in a wide circle as we prepare to sing our final hymn. If you do not wish to take the hands of your neighbors, feel free to just let them know or cross your hands over your heart. These are still uncertain times for many of us. Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. You will see the words on your screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.